The last line of defense. Captain Maya Rice stood at the viewport of the UES Defiance, watching as the stars stretched and distorted around the experimental warship. The quantum slip drive, humanity's newest innovation, had kept them one step ahead of the Arconian collective for the past 9 months. But running wasn't a strategy. It was a delaying tactic, and they had just run out of time. Status report, Rice demanded, returning to the command chair at the center of the bridge. The holographic displays surrounding her position painted the room in shades of blue and red, casting long shadows across the faces of her crew. Lieutenant Commander Darius Chen looked up from the tactical station, his expression grim. "Slip drive is cooling down, Captain. Arconian signatures detected at the edge of the Epsilon system. Based on their formation and velocity, I estimate we have 43 minutes before they're in weapons range." Rice nodded, the weight of command pressing down on her shoulders like a physical force. The Defiance carried the hopes of what remained of humanity, a species pushed to the brink of extinction by an alien collective that had appeared in human space 18 months ago with a single message: submit or be eliminated. Humanity had refused to kneel. Earth was gone now, a smoldering ruin. The colonies had fallen one by one. All that remained was the Defiance and her crew of 423 souls, along with the refugees they'd managed to evacuate from Proxima Station before its destruction. "How many ships?" Rice asked, though she already suspected the answer. 67 vessels, Captain," replied Chen, his fingers moving across the holographic interface, "including 3 dreadnoughts. The Arconian flagship Eternal Dominion is among them." The bridge fell silent. They were outgunned, outmanned, and cornered. But the Defiance wasn't just any warship. "Dr. Nakamura," Rice called, turning to the civilian scientist who had been working feverishly at a console in the corner of the bridge. "Is the Icarus protocol ready?" Nakamura looked up, dark circles under her eyes testament to days without proper sleep. "The simulations are promising, Captain. But if we initiate the protocol, there's a 70% chance the quantum field generators will overload. We'd be effectively sacrificing the Defiance." "And if we don't use it?" Rice countered. The scientist didn't need to answer. Everyone on the bridge knew the reality. The Arconians didn't take prisoners. They didn't negotiate. They simply exterminated what they considered vermin. Rice stood again, walking to the center of the bridge. "Open a ship-wide channel." Communication Officer Rivera tapped a few commands. "Channel open, Captain." Rice took a breath, choosing her words carefully. "This is Captain Rice. By now, you all know that an Arconian fleet has entered the Epsilon system. 67 ships, including 3 dreadnoughts. They'll be in weapons range in less than an hour." She paused, looking around at her bridge crew. "Conventional tactics would tell us to run, to find another hiding place, to keep the flame of humanity alive for another day, another week. But we've been running for months, and what has it gained us? More dead worlds, more innocent lives lost." The ship hummed around her, the distant pulse of the quantum core like a heartbeat. "Today, we stand and fight. The Defiance carries more than our lives. It carries the legacy of Earth, the spirit of a species that refused to go quietly into the night. The Arconians believe they understand us, that they've cataloged and dismissed us as a primitive threat. They're about to learn how wrong they are." Throughout the ship, engineers ran final checks on systems, medical personnel prepared for casualties, and gunners calibrated their stations. Every soul aboard the Defiance knew this might be their final stand. "Dr. Nakamura has prepared the Icarus protocol. It's untested in combat conditions, but the simulations suggest it may be our one chance to strike a decisive blow against the collective. If successful, we won't just save ourselves. We'll send a message to the Arconians that humanity will not be erased from the galaxy without consequence." In the engine room, Chief Engineer Tariq Hassan supervised the final preparations, rerouting power and bypassing safety protocols. The quantum core pulsed with increasing intensity, bathing the engineering deck in a soft blue glow. All hands to battle stations, Rice concluded. May the spirit of Earth guide us. As the announcement ended, the bridge erupted into controlled chaos. Officers moved with purpose, preparing defensive systems and plotting approach vectors. Strategic options, Rice asked, turning to her XO, Commander Sarah Okonkwo. Okonkwo pulled up a holographic display of the system. The Arconians are approaching in standard formation. Dreadnoughts at the center, cruisers arranged in defensive layers. They haven't spotted us yet behind Epsilon Ivy's moon. Recommendations. Okonkwo's dark eyes narrowed in thought. Conventional tactics would be suicide, Captain. Even with our advanced shielding, we can't take on that many ships directly. What about unconventional tactics? Rice pressed. A ghost of a smile crossed Okonkwo's face. If we use Epsilon Ivy's gravity well to slingshot the Defiance at maximum acceleration, we could break through their outer defensive line before they can react. It would put us in range to deploy the Icarus Protocol against their flagship. Casualty projection. High, Okonkwo admitted, but better than 100% if we do nothing. Rice nodded, her decision made. Helm, plot a course using the commander's specifications. Engineering, I need everything you can give me from the quantum drive. The Defiance trembled slightly as the engines powered up to full capacity. On the tactical display, the Arconian fleet continued its inexorable approach, unaware that their prey had become the predator. They're scanning the system, Chen reported. Standard Arconian search pattern. They'll detect us in approximately 3 minutes. Then we move now, Rice decided. All hands, brace for high-G maneuvers. Helm, execute on my mark. The bridge crew secured themselves in their crash harnesses. Rice felt the familiar pressure as the inertial dampeners struggled to compensate for the coming acceleration. 3, 2, 1, mark. The Defiance shot forward, engines screaming as the ship curved around Epsilon Ivy's moon, using the celestial body's gravity to accelerate beyond normal parameters. G-forces pressed the crew into their seats despite the dampener's best efforts. On the main view screen, the Arconian fleet came into view. Dozens of sleek, purple-hued vessels arranged in perfect formation. For a moment, they seemed unaware of the human warship hurtling toward them at impossible speeds. Then the entire formation began to shift. They've detected us, Chen reported. Outer defensive line is breaking formation to intercept. Stay on course, Rice ordered. Weapons, prepare to clear a path. The Defiance's pulse cannons roared to life, sending lances of blue energy toward the approaching Arconian vessels. The first volley caught them by surprise, 3 smaller ships erupting in silent explosions as their reactor cores breached. The Arconians returned fire, filling space with purple energy beams that the Defiance barely managed to evade. Shields at 87%, reported Lieutenant Kim from the engineering station. Holding steady. The ship shuddered as a glancing blow struck the port side. Continue acceleration, Rice commanded. Nakamura, status on the Icarus Protocol. The scientist's fingers flew across her console. Energy levels rising, Captain. We're at 63% capacity. We need at least 85 to initiate. Another hit rocked the ship, harder this time. Shields at 72%, Kim updated. Minor hull breach on Deck C. Containment fields holding. On the tactical display, the Arconian fleet's formation had completely broken apart as vessels maneuvered to intercept the Defiance's unexpected charge. It was working. The confusion had created a gap in their defensive line. There, Rice pointed to the display. Helm, adjust course through that opening. All power to forward shields. The Defiance banked sharply, engines straining as the ship threaded the needle between 2 Arconian cruisers. Enemy fire intensified, beams of deadly energy crisscrossing space around them. We're through their outer defenses, Okonkwo reported. Inner defensive line adjusting to compensate. Ahead, the massive form of the Arconian flagship loomed larger on the view screen, a behemoth of alien design, easily 4 times the size of the Defiance. "They're hailing us," Rivera announced, surprise evident in his voice. "On screen," Rise ordered. The view screen flickered, revealing a tall, gray-skinned figure with 4 glowing eyes arranged in a diamond pattern across a face that seemed more insectoid than mammalian. "High Commander Vexnar, architect of humanity's destruction." Captain Reyes, the alien's voice was unnaturally smooth, translated by the ship's computers. "Your species continues to fascinate with its illogical behavior. This suicidal charge accomplishes nothing. Surrender your vessel and accept the inevitable." Reyes stood, facing the alien who had ordered the death of billions. "You've studied our history, Commander Vexnar. You should know by now that humans don't surrender well." "Your defiance is meaningless," Vexnar replied. "You are the last. When your ship falls, humanity becomes nothing more than a footnote in the collective's archives." "Perhaps," Rise acknowledged. "Or perhaps you're about to learn why cornering a human is the last mistake many have made throughout our history." She cut the transmission with a gesture. "Icarus protocol status," she demanded. 82% and climbing," Nakamura reported. "Another 40 seconds to minimum deployment threshold." "We don't have 40 seconds," Chen interrupted. "All Arconian vessels converging on our position. Impact from concentrated fire in 15 seconds. Reyes made her decision. "Helm, set collision course with the flagship." A moment of shocked silence fell over the bridge before professionalism reasserted itself. "Collision course set," the helmsman confirmed, his voice steady despite the suicide order. "Nakamura, we're initiating the protocol at current capacity," Reyes ordered. "Reroute all non-essential power, life support, artificial gravity, everything. We need to reach minimum threshold." Throughout the ship, the lights dimmed as power was diverted. The artificial gravity fluctuated, causing loose objects to momentarily float before crashing back down. "Energy at 84%, Nakamura called out, initiating emergency protocols. The Arconian vessels opened fire, a concentrated barrage of energy weapons that hammered against the Defiance's shields. The barrier of energy flickered, threatening to collapse under the assault. "Shields failing," Kim shouted over the noise of overloading systems. 30 seconds to complete shield failure." "We only need 20, Rise responded, her knuckles white, as she gripped the arms of her command chair. "Status on Icarus, 87%, we're at minimum threshold," Nakamura announced. "Initiating now." A new sound filled the ship, a high-pitched whine, as the quantum core channeled energy in ways it was never designed to do. The view screen showed the Defiance closing rapidly on the Arconian flagship, enemy fire intensifying with each passing second. "Icarus protocol active," Nakamura reported. "Field expanding." Around the Defiance, space itself seemed to distort as the experimental technology created a quantum field that spread outward from the human vessel in an expanding sphere of warped reality. The first Arconian ships caught in the field began to twist and bend in impossible ways as fundamental forces within the bubble altered. Metal stretched and folded, energy weapons diffracted into harmless light, and propulsion systems failed as the laws of physics were locally rewritten. "It's working," Okonkwo exclaimed. "The field is destabilizing their ships." On the view screen, the flagship loomed ever larger, its weapons still firing, but with diminishing effect as the quantum field began to interact with the energy beams. "Brace for impact," Rai shouted as the Defiance hurtled toward the heart of the alien command vessel. But instead of a collision, something unexpected happened. As the Defiance's quantum field fully enveloped the Arconian flagship, the massive vessel began to phase in and out of normal space, its structure becoming transparent before solidifying again in a different configuration. "What's happening?" Rais demanded. Nakamura stared at her readings in disbelief. "The field is creating a quantum superposition state. The flagship exists in multiple configurations simultaneously. Their matter is becoming unstable. Throughout the Arconian fleet, chaos spread as ship after ship encountered the expanding quantum field. Some vessels simply ceased to exist, while others twisted into unrecognizable shapes, before exploding in brilliant flashes of light. The flagship itself began to collapse inward, the superposition state resolving into a catastrophic implosion that sent shockwaves through the surrounding space. Helm, evasive maneuvers. Rise ordered as the wave of energy approached the Defiance. But it was too late. The shockwave hit the human vessel with devastating force, sending it tumbling through space as systems overloaded and failed throughout the ship. As darkness claimed the bridge and emergency lighting struggled to activate, Captain Rise had one last glimpse of the tactical display. Where 67 Arconian vessels had been, only scattered debris remained. The Defiance had struck a blow that would echo across the stars, turning the tide. Darkness and silence enveloped the bridge of the Defiance. For several heartbeats, Captain Rice wondered if she had died, if the gamble had claimed them all. Then, one by one, emergency systems began to reactivate. Red emergency lighting cast eerie shadows across the debris-strewn command center. Status report. Rice called out, her voice hoarse. She tasted blood, a cut on her lip from when she'd been thrown from her chair during the blast. Around her, the bridge crew stirred, checking systems and assessing damage. Commander Okonkwo pulled herself up from the deck, a nasty gash across her forehead. Multiple systems offline, Lieutenant Kim reported, his console sputtering with intermittent power. Main reactor in emergency shutdown. Auxiliary power at 38% and holding. Casualties? Rise asked, dreading the answer. Reports coming in from all decks, Rivera responded, pressing a hand to his earpiece. Medical teams overwhelmed. Preliminary count shows at least 47 injured, 12 confirmed dead. Reyes closed her eyes briefly, honoring those lost. Then the mission reasserted itself. What about the Arconian fleet? Chen worked his tactical station, which flickered with unstable power. Scanning. This can't be right. He looked up, disbelief written across his features. Captain, I'm reading massive debris fields where the Arconian fleet was positioned. The quantum field appears to have destroyed or critically damaged approximately 80% of their vessels. A stunned silence fell over the bridge. The flagship. Rise pressed. Chen checked his readings again. Confirmed destroyed, Captain. The Eternal Dominion is gone. A mixture of emotions swept through the bridge. Relief, disbelief, and a grim satisfaction. Humanity had been pushed to the edge of extinction and had pushed back with desperate innovation. And Vexenar? Rise asked. No escape pods detected from the flagship before its destruction, Chen confirmed. High Commander Vexenar appears to have been eliminated along with his vessel. Dr. Nakamura stumbled to her feet, making her way to a damaged console. The Icarus protocol exceeded all simulated parameters, she reported, wonder in her voice. The quantum field expanded far beyond our projections, creating cascading reality distortions throughout the Arconian fleet. Can we replicate it? Rise asked. Nakamura shook her head. Not with our current power levels. The quantum core is severely damaged. It'll take weeks, maybe months to repair, assuming we have the necessary materials. Rise nodded, processing this information. What about the remaining Arconian vessels? 17 ships appear intact, Chen reported. But they're in disarray. No coordinated movement. Some are already retreating from the system. They don't know what to do without their commander, Okonkwo observed. The Arconian collective operates on strict hierarchy. With Vexenar gone and most of their fleet destroyed, they've lost their command structure. Ray stood, ignoring the pain that shot through her ribs. At least one was broken. Lieutenant Rivera, broadcast on all frequencies, standard Arconian communication protocols. Channel open, Captain. Ray straightened, summoning the authority in her voice despite the pain. This is Captain Maya Rise of the United Earth Ship Defiance to all remaining Arconian vessels. Your flagship is destroyed. High Commander Vexnar is dead. 80% of your fleet lies in ruins. This was accomplished by a single human warship. She paused, letting the words sink in. You came to our worlds pronouncing judgment, believing yourselves our evolutionary superiors. You destroyed Earth and our colonies without warning or provocation. You declared humanity a primitive species unworthy of existence in your ordered galaxy. Throughout the damaged ship, crew members paused in their emergency repairs to listen to their captain's words. Today, you have learned the cost of that arrogance. A primitive species has developed technology beyond your understanding. Technology that turned your superior numbers and firepower against you. Technology that we can and will deploy again if you continue this campaign of genocide. On the tactical display, the remaining Arconian vessels began moving, organizing into a retreat formation. Return to your collective. Tell them what happened here. Tell them that humanity is not extinct. We are evolving. Tell them that for every world you destroyed, for every billion lives you erased, we have grown more determined, more innovative, and more dangerous. Reyes's voice hardened. And tell them this. The next time you face humanity, it won't be a single ship. It will be a fleet carrying the same technology that decimated yours today. The choice is yours. Leave us in peace or face extinction yourselves. She nodded to Rivera, who cut the transmission. They're retreating, Chen confirmed, watching the tactical display. All remaining vessels accelerating out of the system. A ragged cheer went up from the bridge crew, quickly tempered by the knowledge of their situation. A damaged ship with limited resources in a remote system. XO, coordinate repair teams, Rise ordered. Priority to life support, propulsion, and communication systems. We need to contact any remaining human outposts. Yes, Captain. Okonkwo acknowledged, already moving to implement the orders. Dr. Nakamura, I need a complete analysis of what happened with the Icarus protocol. Why was it so much more effective than the simulations predicted? The scientist nodded, exhaustion evident in her movements. I have some theories. The quantum field appears to have interacted with the Arconians' own technology in unexpected ways. Their ships use a form of spatial manipulation for their propulsion systems. Our field may have created a feedback loop that amplified the effect exponentially. Can we weaponize this discovery? Rise asked bluntly. Nakamura didn't flinch at the directness of the question. With further research and refinement, yes. What we witnessed today was just the uncontrolled first iteration of quantum field technology. With proper development, we could change the balance of power in the galaxy. Rise finished. Captain, Rivera called out. I'm picking up a transmission. It's weak, but it's definitely using Earth encryption protocols. Hope surged through the bridge. Source, Rise demanded. The Procyon system. It's a repeating message. Captain, it's Admiral Takahashi. The 7th Fleet survived. A second cheer, louder this time, filled the bridge. Admiral Takahashi's 7th Fleet had been presumed lost when the Arconians attacked the Procyon colony 6 months ago. Put it through, Rise ordered. The message was fragmented, distorted by distance and interference, but clear enough. To any surviving Earth vessels. This is Admiral Takahashi of the 7th Fleet. We have established a secure base in the Procyon system with approximately 30,000 civilian refugees and 7 warships. Multiple deep space colonies have reported survival, resistance forming. Need all available ships to rendezvous at coordinates. Reyes felt something she hadn't experienced in months. Genuine hope. They weren't alone. Humanity hadn't been reduced to just the Defiance and her crew. Plot a course for the Procyon system, she ordered, and prepare a complete data package on the Icarus protocol. Once the quantum core is repaired enough for short-range jumps, we'll make our way there. As the crew set about their tasks with renewed vigor, Rise finally allowed herself to sink into her command chair, feeling the full weight of the past hours. Chief Engineer Hassan arrived on the bridge, his uniform stained with coolant fluid and blood, not all of it his own. Captain, I've got repair teams working on the quantum core. Preliminary assessment suggests we can get it to 30% capacity within 48 hours. Enough for short jumps. Good work, Chief, Rise acknowledged. What's your assessment of the damage? Hassan's expression was grim but determined. It's bad, but we've seen worse. The Defiance is a tough ship, Captain. She'll fly again. Rise nodded, grateful for the engineer's confidence. I need you to work with Dr. Nakamura. The Icarus protocol exceeded all expectations. I want to know why, and I want to know if we can replicate it with more control. You're thinking of weaponizing it, Hassan observed. It wasn't a question. The Arconians struck without warning or provocation. Rise replied evenly. They deemed us unworthy of existence in their ordered galaxy. Today we proved them wrong, but this isn't over. When we reach Admiral Takahashi and the other survivors, we need to be ready. Hassan nodded in understanding. I'll get on it right away, Captain. As the engineer left, Commander Okonkwo approached, medical patch sealing the wound on her forehead. The battle is over, but the war has just begun, she observed quietly. Rise looked at the tactical display, where the retreating Arconian vessels were now tiny blips at the edge of sensor range. They'll be back. Not tomorrow, maybe not for months, but they'll return. The collective won't tolerate the humiliation they suffered today. And we'll be ready, Okonkwo assured her. What happened here will spread through whatever human colonies remain. The Defiance will become a symbol, proof that we can fight back. That humanity isn't finished. Ray stood, moving to the viewport where distant stars shone against the blackness of space. Somewhere out there, humans still survived, fighting and hiding and refusing to accept extinction. The Arconians made a fundamental error, she said quietly. They studied our weapons, our technology, our biology, but they never understood our most dangerous quality. Which is? Okonkwo asked. That we're our most innovative, our most determined, and our most dangerous when pushed to the edge of extinction, Rise answered. Throughout human history, our greatest advances came not from comfort but from crisis, not from peace but from conflict. She turned back to face the bridge crew, who had paused in their duties to listen. Today, the Arconians learned that destroying Earth didn't eliminate humanity. It unleashed us. They believed they were conducting a simple extermination. Instead, they've triggered an evolution. On the main view screen, a course plotted to the Procyon system glowed softly. The first step on a journey that would take humanity from the brink of extinction to something new, something the galaxy had never seen before. Send a message to Admiral Takahashi, Rise ordered. Tell him the Defiance is coming home. And tell him to prepare, because humanity isn't just surviving anymore. We're fighting back. As the Defiance's damaged systems hummed back to life around them, Captain Maya Rice allowed herself a moment of reflection. The ship had taken severe damage. They had lost good people. But for the first time since Earth fell, humanity had struck a devastating blow against their would-be exterminators. The tide was turning, and the galaxy would never be the same.